IVM.
Hi Tash.
Hello Ayushi and listeners, dear listeners.
Our dear listeners, oh my God, it's been a 6-week hiatus that we've taken from the show.
Too long.
And we've been literally itching to get back. How are you guys? I feel like I want to ask the listeners, I want them to respond immediately. Like, how are you?
Have you been okay without our voices in your ears?
Because I haven't been okay. I haven't been okay not recording for this long.
I think we've been trying to record for a couple of weeks now. So the first 2-3 weeks, we were okay to take a break. We needed it.
It was good.
Yeah. And then for the past 3 weeks, actually, we've been trying to figure out we should record. And then we did not end up recording.
At all.
Yeah. But we have many excuses.
We have a pretty big one actually.
Before we announce that, I would just like to say welcome back to Agla Station Adulthood with me, Ritasha, and my host and host, Ayushi.
Yay. Welcome back to season 2. This is...
Yes.
Actually, it's a funny thing. We never thought that, first of all, we'd get to this point, A.
Yes.
And B, we didn't think that we were going to do seasons. We thought we'd just keep the show rolling endlessly. But we kind of like the idea of doing 50 or 40-something, 50 episodes per season. So this is season 2. Like we said at the end of last season, we're going to try a little different format this time. We might have some more guests on. We're crowdsourcing topics. So once again, please feel free to send us in what you'd like to talk about. We're going to do some things more real time. So maybe it'll reflect what's happening in society, in the world. If not, it just could be what's happening inside our heads. But feel free to write in, tell us what you want us to talk about, what you are going through and you'd like to, just have a chat with us. So season 2, we're excited. We are pumped. And the reason is because we've had a nice little break because of...
Drum roll!
COVID-19.
COVID-19. So, listeners, Ayushi and I have had the experience of 2020. It's been the cherry on this cake, if you will.
We both got COVID.
Yes. Not too long ago. You might have seen all our enjoyment pics from Goa. I'm sure you have. And you didn't know that sneaky glow it caption. It's because we all had COVID.
And we wanted to come clean to our
Only
listeners.
to you guys.
Only to you guys. We haven't told a lot of people, publicly.
Not gone public about it yet.
We haven't gone public with it, but I think we've been very proud about the fact that we've never lied to the listeners. You never lied on the podcast. So we wanted to say, and obviously, and we had some disclaimers and advice and sort of owning up to do on the show for COVID. So I'll give you a quick rundown. We, parts of lockdown started opening. We had some friends who were living in their family house in Goa. So we thought, we'll take a quick break, go for a week, 10 days, come back. We got there. We had a really nice time. It was so good seeing...
We had got tested before flying.
Oh, yeah. We all tested.
Negative, okay?
We were all negative.
Now, between reaching there and enjoying for 1 week, we don't know what happened.
And turns out that all 4 of us that were living in the house together, we tested very much positive.
Yes. And it could have been a myriad of things that could have passed it on to us. Who knows?
But we decided not to go down that lane of trying to think, because there is no, as we all know, there really is no way to know how you get it, who you got it from, what interaction led to you contracting it. We'd like to say that we had it. It was relatively mild in the sense that it was manageable within the house. We didn't have to go to a hospital or any sort of medical center for any help. So we're very grateful for that. We had a lot of doctors in all our families helping, consulting, diagnosing, prescribing medication to us. And it was actually this great blessing, because when else would 4 friends get to spend 3 weeks in the same house.
Yeah, it was
Locked
literally
in.
a blessing in disguise. I mean,
It was Big Boss. It was Big Boss.
It was the Big Boss house. Yeah, so we've really had it all. We've experienced the joys and the fights and the frustration and the
anxiety, the
that
stress.
comes with having COVID. I think the first couple of days were very, very taxing on all of us. And understandably so. I mean, it's a beast which nobody really knows much about. Even doctors are discovering new things about it every day.
And
we were pretty much on edge, to say the least, for a few days.
For the first couple. Also, I think the first couple of days were also hard and stressful for us because that's when we actually had the majority of the symptoms of COVID, the active ones of the body ache, the headache, the cold, the throat, the fever. But once we got past that first 3 days, I think we had to do, then it was a lot more personality management and just figuring out where everyone was. But I would like to tell everyone as well, we've all tested negative. We were responsible. We didn't, go anywhere. We tested. That's when, after which we flew back home. So we tried our best to do right by the formalities that the government has put in place and everything like that.
But I mean, of course, somewhere we were irresponsible and we accept that. And that's why maybe we are a little
cagey about this, we're very defensive.
Yeah, मतलब हमने किया, हम गोवा गए, हमने मस्ती की और हमें COVID हो गया.
Yep.
I guess nazar bhi lag gayi, I mean, I to think it's nazar, 100%.
But the funny thing is, before we left, we tested and then the government rule came out that's exact day that you no longer need to test before flying. Yeah. And we still thought that we were very careful. Anyway, we've dedicated too much of this episode to this episode.
If you have COVID, don't worry, you'll be fine. Take care. I'm also not a medical professional, but yeah, just take care.
I would say follow the directions of the medical professional that you are consulting and do everything that they say. Definitely take care of your mental health as well, because this is a very odd disease in the sense that you have to isolate. The problem is not so much, I would say, if you've got a mild case, you'll be able to get through it. It's more about this lockdown that comes after it, knowing what to do, and this kind of scarlet letter target that you have on your back of everyone either not wanting to meet you or you feeling uncomfortable around people about lying.
Pariah.
Yeah, you become a social pariah, and we felt that very intensely.
Big time. But also, I have to say, I've kind of enjoyed not meeting people also.
It's been a great excuse. It's been a wonderful excuse.
It's great.
But anyway, so...
I'm really happy though that we got to hang out like mad.
Yeah, and one would think that we would have recorded an episode while we were together, but we did not.
We didn't, because it would have been too difficult to I don't know.
The sound and all we were told was not good. Also, we were very sick,
We had COVID.
Anyway, that's right. So,
how are you, Bunny?
I'm good. I feel stronger.
I feel stronger
because I started going for walks.
Good. Gentle I think this not being able to exercise for 3 weeks really messed up.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had no control over our diet.
I was eating carbohydrates, in carbohydrates, on carbohydrates, with carbohydrates.
Wrapped in carbohydrates.
Yeah. Only carbohydrates.
That's because we were on very strong medication. So we thought that that's the right thing to do.
Dude, but I'm having legit carb withdrawals, I haven't really eaten bread since we came back.
I'm so hungry now.
Dude, today in my grocery run, I bought bread and I've already eaten one slice. Yeah.
Anyway,
so I feel not interested in my chit chat.
Not for that reason, because if you talk about bread, I'm going to get very hungry. Because it's that evening time hunger,
Yeah.
If we were in our COVID house, we would have had some Maggie about right now.
My God, what fun.
So yeah, that's been our last couple of weeks. Other than that, I think whenever this episode is, I think I know when it's going to come out, which means we are still in some sort of this half lockdown, not lockdown, which I don't know what it means, how it stands. Yeah, but I think by the time this comes out, I think restaurants are supposed to have started to open and
cinema halls at 50%.
Something like that. So, the show has been interesting to record because we've kind of seen it, like we spoke about it earlier, we've seen it through this entire pandemic, this disease, and from where we were at day 0 to now in October, But
that's also been blowing my mind that it's been 7 months, and now it's just like gotten so used to it that it's
yes.
It's just like, haan, theek hai, 2020 is just this only. It's going on.
Yeah, and this, I hate saying this phrase because it's overutilized, but this really has become the new normal.
I was trying to avoid saying that.
I know, same, but it's kind of unavoidable because look at what it is. It's already like mid-October, right? By the time this comes out, it's
not like, what about wedding season? I really do. I feel sad for people who had all planned to get married and now have to have guest lists. But that's great, actually. You save money.
As a avid partier,
yes,
I'm feeling very robbed of wedding season. But obviously, that's nothing compared to the people who are getting married.
No, of course, I mean.
But circling back in terms of, yeah, we've seen it through this 7-month period, but to take even one step further back is like, it's been a year of the show. We've, for this new episode of season 2, we wanted to do a little like, where are they now? 1 year later kind of a thing.
Mm.
So, Tash, let me ask you, a year in, where are you now?
Oh my God, Aishi, you've asked me a very loaded question.
Well, I mean, that's the topic, right?
Yeah, okay. So I think this year, since we started Agla Station Adulthood and now we find ourselves here at the 51st episode, there have been a lot of changes in me personally as a person, as a personality, as a thought process, as a what I want from my life, as a cutting out toxic shit from my life. And I think, honestly, the pandemic had a big part to play in that. Because
yeah, I mean, it's unavoidable. It was clearly more than half the year.
Because everything that had been stewing and simmering, all of it was kind of pushed to the forefront. And now I find myself having cut out a lot of things from my life, thanks to pandemic and otherwise. Aishi is taking a picture.
I got it. No, continue.
Yeah, so I feel a bit freer. I feel a bit lighter. I feel a bit more secure in myself and in my ambitions and in
the direction of where you want to go. I think you, like, absolutely. What I've noticed from you is like you seem to be more focused on where you want to go. But that's great. And do you think that this progression started pre-pandemic, or it's kind of been brewing since last year, or has it been just in pandemic that you found this change in yourself?
You know, actually, I feel like if the pandemic hadn't happened, we would have pretty much been going on with our regular lives.
And we would have been on cruise control, yeah.
We would have been doing the things we thought we had to do, the all of that. Maybe not having that, it really made me make some hard decisions. So like taking a step back from a very intensely committed relationship, for example, telling Rajiv, okay, listen, buddy, we can be friends. We can be friends with benefits. We can hang out. We still can be family, essentially. But I can't do this very, very heavy domestic life anymh with another person. I need this space and time to focus on myself. And this is something which came up when I spoke to Kavita one day, our IVM producer, guys. Shout out. Cav. And Cav was like, she told me that you are a building. You are building yourself. This is the building you're building. If I say building one more time, slap me. But basically, I have taken the time out now for the next 5 years that really just got set in my brain. Okay, I need to focus on me and my growth, no matter how selfish that sounds. I want to actually live my best life, even if that means being selfish in a way. And that's become a very big feature recently. And at the same time, of course, I think in this 1 year, we've all become far more hyper aware about mental health and the kind of ups and downs that one has to deal with. And one has to deal with on a personal level, on a family level, or a cohabitation level. So it's not just about protecting yourself. It's about also taking care of the people you live with and being cognizant of their mental health journey and where they're at. Because like my mom and my sister, both in this pandemic, have opened up to me and like to our family about struggling with mental health and depression. And now, luckily, it's like, okay, we can at least talk about it and we at least have addressed the elephant in the room.
Right.
So a lot of things have come to the forefront, whether it's relationships, whether it's emotions, whether it's personal, professional journeys, everything, just many things. Sorry, you talk.
I think that's absolutely great. And it's kind of just testament to the fact that truly every cloud has a silver lining, because this is a silver lining from the pandemic point of view, that you were able to take such great stock of your life. Like, I don't think out of our whole friends group, I think you've taken the most. I mean, not to reveal anyone else's thing or to say that yours is wrong or right. I'm saying more just you seem to have taken the most stock of your situation and done a lot of internal.
Because a lot of changes have happened.
Yeah, reassessing, redesigning the feng shui of your life.
Absolutely. And like seeing my parents also having to shut down their
business. Yeah, exactly.
It affects a family to see a business or your profession being.
That's a huge change that's happened to you in the last 1 year. I would say that your parents' whole core, which was their work and their worship, actually, in a way, has fundamentally changed.
Yeah. So it's a lot for us to deal with as a family also. We're also kind of readjusting to life with each other, figuring out, and to see one's parents at 55 and 56 respectively. Again, back at like square one, just figuring out what's next. It kind of, it scared me and my sister, I guess. But anyway, theek hai. These are all part of life's lessons.
Yeah, I'm saying we've been served some lessons in the last year.
Yeah.
Should we take a short break before we move into
Ayushi?
Yeah.
Theek hai. See you on the other side.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, Niharika Pandey joined Cyrus this week on Cyrus Says. Niharika is the strategic partner manager for Instagram India. Great conversation about the plans for Instagram in India. Karanjit Kaur joined the guys at Uncle Please Sit. Another really interesting conversation about the patriarchy. On Advertising is Dead, old friend Suchita Salwan showed up. Suchita is the founder of LBB. Great conversation she had with Varun. Definitely do check that out as well. Tanvi Lad, who is a nationally ranked badminton player, was on the Habit Code with Ashton Doctor. Great conversation. I would highly, highly recommend that. The Football Football guys are back. They've been back for a few weeks, but definitely do check out their latest episode. Great conversation they had. On Aditi Surana's Absolutely Right, Manju Sara Rajan was the guest, and again, a great conversation was to be had over there. As always, great conversations all across the board. Check out some of the other stuff like Smile India and Know Your Kanun and All Things Policy. All of them had fresh episodes this week, but with that, let's get you back to your show.
Welcome back. I actually don't know what the ads are right now. I haven't listened to the show in so long that I don't even know what the ads are anymore. What the break has.
Amit's voice.
yeah. We hope you enjoyed Amit's voice. So, like we were talking about before in the break, this year, from when we started to where we are now, because of the pandemic, has been a huge chunk of it. There's been a lot more change than we would have expected. Like Tash said, I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, we would have just been doing the normal life. No. We wouldn't have really taken this time. And for me, I think in the last 1 year, the things that have changed is professionally, I think there's been a lot of leveling up for me. Like I have a lot more on my plate than I used to. I don't think I'm better at handling it, but I just have more on my plate. Like I wish I was more, like I was better at dealing with stuff 1 year in. Like I feel like that's a personal disappointment, is professionally I've not gotten better at dealing with the thali. You know, like there's more sabzi in my plate now. There's more like pickle and raita and everything is coming, but I'm still struggling. Like, how do I handle all the pieces? But as a person, I think there's been a lot of good development. Like, just a lot more of, like, I like to call it like winnowing down. To just kind of come down to the basic or like the root or the bud. And that has happened a lot more in terms of like, I think I'm very clear about the things that I'm looking for now in my life from a personal level, not just like romantic and relationship, but like from relationships and friendships with my parents, with my sibling. Like I know what I would like it to focus around. I know what I want it to be, what the future of that relationship is going to be like. And that has been good in the last 1 year. And I think, first of all, the show has helped a lot because, like we've called it, it's like therapy.
Yeah.
But it's been a, like, we've talked about this, and I think in that loneliness episode, in other episodes, like we focused a lot about the fact that, I'm 28 and not focused a lot on it, but like the two counterparts of the show is that you were in a committed relationship. I was single and the single person. So still am, by the way. We should just add that out. That balance has a little bit changed, only in the sense that now we both are more on the single side of it as opposed to in the committed.
Yeah, I'm flexible.
Lol. But yeah, there's been so much more experimentation there. There's been more opening up yourself to more people, to exploring, whether you're okay with this kind of a person or you want to meet this person, or like, and so many of breaking down of my own mental barriers of what, like,
For sure.
And I know that I just said I've become more clear about what I want, but this is what's led to that. Like the fact that I was allowing and accepting so many new kind of people into my life, it actually has helped me understand exactly what I need or what I'm looking for. Because I think a year ago, I was like very clear of what I don't want.
Yeah.
Now I would say I'm very clear about what I do want. Like it's not just a elimination of the negatives. It's become like, no, these are the 5 positives I am like concertedly searching for. I am looking for someone to be this kind of a partner. I am looking for this kind of support or backing or whatever it is. So like that way, the journey into 28 it's been good. And I thought I would have a lot more complaints given the fact that it's been such a negatively laced year. But on a personal note, I think like I'm not upset. Is that like I'm not upset 7 months in?
Ayushi, that's amazing. And really, I think a good journey to be at this point now. There's a lot we both must be grateful for.
Absolutely. And I think one more thing that we both haven't touched upon, but obviously I'm not one to forget, is that the social fabric over the last year in our, not just in our country, but in our communities, the world, like that has taken such an important and sort of central role in our discussions, in our lives, in our priorities, in the things that we would like to devote our time and money and energy and mental space over. We've dedicated a lot of episodes to, I don't want to call it social change because we haven't done that, but to causes that I think we're passionate about. And I know we're in October. So if you're listening to this, you already know what's happening in our country. Like this sort of, once again, we're at this point where we're pretending to be shocked at the fact that, we hate women. It's our reality. We should have known it. But you're seeing, I don't know what change is going to come out of this, but you're seeing a lot more engagement from us as a political body than ever before. And I think that's like a fantastic change that I have personally seen in the last 1 year since we started the podcast and now.
Yeah.
The kind of engagement, the kind of media posts, the kind of content that you're seeing is so much bolder. It's so much more confident. It's angry. It's engaged. It's ready to fight. Like, I think that has been the most marvelous thing that I've seen from 2019 to 2020.
Right. Yeah.
Like, don't you think? Like last year we were debating, like that watershed moment was that the CA, NRC kind of thing that started. And then after that, it's just been a domino effect of people just, getting really involved and getting very angry and starting to question things. And even if they're not doing that publicly, that there are people now that are picking up a paper or looking online or looking at a tweet or going on their Instagram and following a link that's shared and trying to get more involved. And I think that 1 year in, that has been really cool for me.
And then, in line with that, I think another cool thing that's happened because of that is a lot of people are also realizing the importance of addressing these issues on ground and getting involved with
Yes.
on ground, as opposed to just being keyboard warriors or just posting on social media. I think people are more comfortable and okay now with the idea of helping out in other ways, actually physically present or monetarily,
yeah.
it is. I think that's been a good change, but of course we need more of it. No. Enough, but yeah.
Of course, but I think like
this less keyboard warriorism is great. Like just
and also I think people see, I'm not saying devil's advocate, but I always like to see from the other side of, this is so new for us. This is we've been people like to say it in the other way. They're like, India's always been a country that's had to agitate for its freedom, for its rights, for this. I'm like, yeah, of course. But this is 2020 India. This is the 21st century India. Like, we got complacent because we had capitalism and we had money and we had good stuff. So it's going to take some time to get us back out there on our feet and getting us like really involved and really like engaged. But you're right. Like, you're seeing more of people having, I think even what you said about on ground, like, of course, like attending protests and lending their voice and their platforms and money to things is one. But haven't you noticed, like, we're having conversations with our friends that we didn't used to have before?
Yes and no.
No, like, even you don't think you're having more conversations with your family? Like, I think I'm having way more, like, there's a lot more comfort now in calling people out, being like, no, I'm not here for this. I'm not going to see this.
For sure. That's fine. Calling people out is great. That too happens. But
it's more now.
I feel like last year in my family, at least, there was a lot of tension because of the political.
But that was a lot of families. We spoke about that it's causing that rift in families.
So we don't discuss it no more. Now we focus on the things that we can actually improve or better upon. And we do those.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think.
Yeah.
I think maybe then I was saying it more in terms of like, sometimes a joke is forwarded on some big group or some work chat and you're just now like, no,
that calling out still happens. Of course.
Sorry, that's not happening.
That kind of stuff. I'm with you. It's great that it happens more now.
And I think that's happening more. Like, there are people who reply to, Instagram stories. There are people who reply to like tweets just being like, no, this isn't acceptable. And I'm not saying that every single person who reaches out and says this is not acceptable is justified in doing that. Like, please back off. But that level, that sort of bravery or that 1% more confidence to say that, a little bit more to be like, no, this is wrong. I should stop this. I shouldn't let this fly. Like, even if 5 people are doing it more, Tash, than they were before, isn't that 5 steps?
Absolutely.
Forward?
Absolutely. I'm with you. I agree.
So that's been, I think, those are some big changes I think we've seen since we started the show.
Yes. I don't know. It's just like...
Say.
This year also has been particularly hard in terms of just the glaring disparity in the country. I've had a lot of internal conflict with this whole privilege, people who lack, and the pandemic has I'm about to cry, but it's like really brought it to light.
Would it be an episode if you didn't cry? But you're right. You're absolutely right. This, there was so much privilege guilt that we carried for the last couple of months. And
I don't know how to.
I mean, I think the thing that at least what I did, sorry, I won't speak for you, is just like I grossly not overcompensated. I tried to overcompensate monetarily. Like I was like, I'm not spending anything on myself for 7 months. So whatever would have been my budget for spending in a month, just every person who's putting up a link, I was like, here, take this here. And I'm not saying it in a show. I'm saying this was genuinely coming from a place of guilt. This was pure guilt that I felt.
Yeah, I think that's possibly the only way even I've tried to absolve myself of and not buying stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, honestly, I feel like it's come to a point where I think like, this is like 1,000 rupees, for example, for me, okay, what can I do with this 1,000 rupees? And then I think about somebody else and I think about what they can do with the 1,000 rupees. And I'm like, why should these 1,000 rupees be spent on something quote unquote silly or
Frivolous,
dumb
yeah.
or frivolous for me? And I'm kind of annoyed that I have to I'm become this person. I can't enjoy anymore. I need to find a balance. I need to find a healthy way to acknowledge and deal with this guilt or whatever it is. I don't know. I think I need to speak to my therapist about this again. I haven't taken therapy for a couple of months. Maybe people can tell. I'm deranged.
No, and as you know, you not taking therapy for a couple of months obviously affects my mental health because my secondhand therapy hasn't come to me. So, but I know what you mean. And these are all the things that have kind of fallen out of that basket while the world has been, just shaken like a bag. Yeah. This is the stuff that's come out.
Bag.
And yeah, we carry so much privilege. And now we're seeing it from different angles. You're seeing it from this level of, there's obviously monetarily, but there's also just access, right? Access to healthcare, access to quality education, things like caste and class that you and I don't think of. Like this stuff is just becoming, and I know that if someone listens to this, they're going to be like, oh, look at you guys, you're just, upper class, privileged girls talking about how y'all are feeling bad about it. But I don't think you have to deny this feeling that you are feeling guilty, you are feeling bad. I think what we need to actively work on is not stopping yourself from enjoying your time, your mental energy, or your wealth. I think the way that we as late 20-year-olds and baby adults, I really feel our job is to analyze why we're feeling this and find maybe a productive route to helping, even if part of the reason we're helping is to alleviate the guilt on ourselves. Like, I think it's okay if that's kind of if 30% of my reason of helping people is to make myself feel a little less guilty, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that being my, the backing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I guess we have to just educate ourselves. And we as a generation, I guess, have come to the point of we understand that privileges. Now people are becoming more conscious of their privilege, which is great. And then it's about finding a healthy way to amplify that access. And
no, of course. And I think the first step for a lot of us has just been to stop saying things like, and not that this was something that I said, but this is something that I've noticed is that, oh, I'm not really political. Like, I'm not really into all of this stuff. Like, that's kind of those statements, and the step to rectify that, to stop saying things like that, to stop thinking like that. Those are the steps that we need to be taking to realize that you are very much part of the problem. You are connected to this whole web of this community, this mess. You are not absolved of the responsibility.
It's like watching Bad Boy Billionaires. Have you seen it?
It's on my watch list now, yeah.
So it's just like, so obviously you see Vijay Mallya and all of that. And then there's like the normal people who work in his company, normal middle class people doing their job, everyday job with kids and families. And
yeah, it was a disaster. It was an actual disaster.
You're just like, what is going on in this country? I'm so angry.
Look, it's not just our country.
Yeah.
This happens world over.
It's a global problem.
It's a huge global problem. The divide has just been getting wider and wider and wider. But to sort of pivot, bring it back to the show, and the premise of our show is just like in terms of trying to be better baby adults and trying to be more engaged baby adults and getting to that finally leveling up to adult. This is all part of a 21st century baby adult's job now. Like, I'm sorry, but this is our new thing. Like, we have to add this to the burden.
We got to be involved.
And we have to be engaged. We have to be socially conscious, I think, is the right way to put it, in terms of like, look at what your decision is resulting in. Just
yeah, it's like that thing. No, it should be ethical capitalism, if that's even possible.
I think you can aim for that. You can try. And I think that's a great first couple of steps, is at least acknowledging that there's a problem, that knowing that this kind of unchecked capitalism is going to harm us all eventually. At no point am I saying that I'm not a capitalist. I am very much so.
Yeah, but Ayushi, now
I'm not
like,
a socialist.
Who
But
was doing Joel? Like, who all must be doing some shady shit?
yeah, but you're talking about like criminal, like as in nefarious activities. Yeah, you're saying like, oh, you don't even know who the Vijay Malyas are and like down with them. Of course. I'm saying more like even you and I as privileged members of society, and I'm saying privilege, not monetarily, privilege even just through education and access.
Yes.
Like, we need to be more, I think, responsible with the way that we engage with capitalism, to kind of recognize where it's taking advantage of us, where we are falling into that. Like for example, I've decided to not become a member of H&M, that member thing, because it's such a slippery slope for me.
Fair.
And it's fast fashion, it's cheap, it's affordable, and it tantalizes you into buying more constantly.
I was there when your package arrived.
I had COVID. I needed a treat.
So Ashna and Ayushi, shout out to Ash also. Girls, I lived my best vicarious shopping life through you guys in Goa. I had a blast shopping vicariously.
We used our... Oh my God. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, let it ring out. It's okay, you're at home. It's normal. It's part of the lockdown.
I can't help it. And no one will answer the phone. That's the mess up.
I love it.
Okay, it's been answered. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, we did a little bit of shopping. And then I saw all these bloggers posting about this H&M membership thing. And I was like, this is made for me. This is made for me. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, Aishi, shut it down. Close the tab. Walk away from the laptop. Take a lap. I had to walk around the house once. No, because I just don't want any more discounts and deals. And
no.
Because I get
pretty slow.
And you get lured in, and I can admit I do not have the self-control to avoid it. So best to just not engage.
Yeah. Well done, Aishi. I am proud of you. Yeah.
I mean, look, these are silly, small decisions that you might think are ridiculous, but
they are important.
Yeah. And if my attachment to capitalism is shopping and material possession, then that's where I need to focus my energy, right? Like, I'm pretty conscious in a social way. Like, I feel like I'm a good citizen. I do what I need to do. So the other thing, this is where I'm messing up. This is where I'm messing up.
We, as a generation, honestly, like, we can, as a privileged society of youth, can start thinking more about carbon footprint, like our own personal carbon footprint. That's like, I think everyone needs to take a hard look at.
Absolutely. And so those are the kind of things that I think we'd like to focus more on. If we can shed more light on them through the show, we are going to do our best to do that. I'm not trying to say that we're going to try to piggyback off all these things, but it would be nice to give a platform to people who are doing good stuff and who can help us become more socially conscious adults.
Yeah, guys, this is about our adulthood glow up. Everyone have a glow up. Okay,
and the glow up is not just... Yeah, it's not just the new tattoo, the hair color, the weight loss. Like, that's all good. Like, enjoy your life. No one is saying no, but I think maybe this idea of shopping local or supporting Indian-made products and brands and companies, like that's the kind of stuff that maybe you need to readjust, realign. The environment is
and support the small businesses for now. I think it's very important we do, if you can.
Yeah, and you're right. This climate change thing is going to be, I think it's a big thing for us as well. We're going to do some episodes to kind of help listeners understand how you can just be more environmentally conscious in your daily life without having to go crazy. Like, no one's telling you start wearing hemp tomorrow, but let's try to work more on this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the aim of episode season 2, and not to say that it's going to become all preachy and social causes only. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're still going to do episodes on dating and love and finances and
also, but
yeah,
all part of the journey.
We are going to talk to friends from different communities, different stratas of society, kind of bring them in and be like, hey, how are you dealing with this? Because you had a year of us.
The conversation now.
Yeah, let's expand it. And so we are very excited for season 2. We have a lot of ideas. I have so many notes. And it's just good to be back together, to be recording again. It's really good.
I love you.
I have missed this. You're crying.
Yeah,
Yay.
it's been fun to record.
So if you guys have topics, things that you'd like to talk about, please reach out. You know, my Instagram is at AyushiA9 and Twitter is at JustAyushi. You can, Tash, yours.
No, say no. Mine is RYTASH on Instagram.
And you can... Yeah, follow Tash. Tash is like a global superstar now.
Oh my God. Side note, I have got to give a big shout out to all my new followers.
Yes.
I've got so many.
We got to get Tash to 100K. So
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
That should also be the aim of season 2, is to get her to 100K.
No. That's too far. I'll get 100K now.
Okay, this is the episode. This is the goal for the first 3 episodes of the show, of the season.
I like this.
So yeah, and you can follow IVM at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us on all podcast streaming platforms, wherever you listen to them. And we hope that you will continue listening to our show. And there was this line that I picked up from this movie called Late Night on Amazon Prime. It's got Emma Thompson, Mindy Kaling in it. And I really liked the line. It's called, I hope I've earned the privilege of your time. And I think that I would like to steal that directly from that movie is we hope that we've earned the privilege of your time.
Namaste. Thank you.
Catch you guys next week. So good to be back. And love you all. Mwah.
Namaskar, this is Ashish Vidyarthi. Yes, my friend, these are challenging times, but in these challenging times, we can create something extraordinary. Do take time to listen to my podcast, Begin the Journey, available on the IVM Podcasts, website, app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, we have a great opportunity called life. Cheers.
Have you ever wondered how successful people do their thing? How do they navigate the challenges they often face? Are you wondering about the future of restaurants, film, education, technology, and everything else in between? Hi, I'm Gauri Devidayal, best known for being one of the brains behind The Table, an award-winning restaurant in Bombay. One thing my life as a restaurateur has given me is the opportunity to meet with some truly inspiring people, most often just by chatting with strangers at the community table. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about learning the new dimensions of business and understanding how different people swim this sea. It's an opportunity for me to pick their brains and ask them all the questions on my mind, whether it's about learning from their past experiences or talking about future trends. Through their journeys, stories, and insights, I hope you too, like me, will come away inspired and energized. So come, join me every Wednesday with your favorite drink because this round is on me.